Hi, I'm Chris the Filmmaker.
And I'm Lazy99.
We're here to talk about the movie Sphere.
Here's a movie starring Dustin Hoffman, Sharon Stone, and Samuel L. Jackson.
Also Liv Schreiber and
Queen Latifah.
Queen Latifah and Peter Colte, or whatever you say his name.
Directed by
Barry
Livingston. So, the main story of Sphere is our main character named Norman, who's played by Dustin Hoffman, and a bunch of other people are escorted to this part in the ocean where they are told that they have found a spaceship underwater. They don't know where it's from, and these are the people that are sent down there to investigate and to make contact as necessary. So down they go into the depths of the ocean, far, far down. And in there we get a real crazy experience.
Yes, I just want to say, Michael Crichton, of course, well known for Jurassic Park.
Dun, 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 dun.
All of his books, pretty much most of his books that are famous are Jurassic Park, The Lost World, Congo, 13th Warrior, Disclosure, and Timeline. And most of all of those, of course, have been made into a movie. And
Only, though a few ended up being good.
yes, well, basically, Crichton's best work is Jurassic Park, hands down. But what people don't realize is that his second best work is Sphere. And I'm not just saying that. It's the freaking truth. I mean, this movie isn't just my favorite. It's my #1 favorite film. It's just incredible. Like, every time I watch this movie, I get something else out of it. And it's so... it's like... It's so entertaining to watch again and again. And you keep getting so much more out of it that I learn that this is the kind of movie that I want to make as a filmmaker. Now, the book that Michael Crichton wrote, I read it and I thought it was a really enjoyable read. Some of the things that were in it, I'm glad that they kind of skipped by. For instance, kind of when Norman's trying to figure out what's happening, why is he being called, and why is he being asked to go on this deep sea adventure kind of thing. They spend a lot of time just Barnes talking to Norman about his report and how it was such a great report and all this. And really, in the movie, they wrap that up in a 2-minute scene. It's really incredible how quick they just glaze over that. And there's also some other stuff with Beth trying to seduce Norman, and I think there's a part in I don't know which chapter, but she kind of takes off all her clothes, and Norman is looking a certain way, and she is looking presentable to Norman's point of view. So, I mean, that doesn't happen in the movie, I'm glad.
Only PG-13.
Because that would have just taken away from the actual story. There's a little bit of backstory on how they actually had a relationship together. But really in the book, the relationship happens throughout the story. So, yeah, it's an enjoyable read as well.
It's really tragic how it's not that well known. If you even look at the case, it has one of these cheap, like, half cardboard and plastic cases that when it was put on DVD.
Just let me talk about something else. The 90s, I really do enjoy 90s movies. Most of them are very well done, and I, for one, have a great love for just anything made in the 90s. I'll try and watch. But most of the time, their DVDs aren't in the best of shape. I think over half of the movies made in the 90s, they got a double-sided DVD, which is terrible. And we're not going to talk about the DVD cases, but we are going to talk about this movie because I'm telling you guys, like, you got to watch this. This is science fiction underwater, and if you want me to compare it to something, it has probably 3 similarities to the movie Abyss, and we all know James Cameron's Abyss. And
yeah, let me just say that I usually, me personally, I don't like underwater movies. I mean, one of the James Bond movies I don't like is that one where they're all underwater, mostly because everything's always moving slowly. The only ones that I do like is The Abyss and Sphere, and I prefer Sphere over The Abyss for a lot of reasons.
yeah.
For one thing, it has more of a sense of atmosphere. The entire place feels like really maybe creepy and creaky and unstable at times. And the entire world is one that you don't really know what can happen in it. This entire world is very suspenseful, and you actually don't really know where the story is gonna go. It really keeps you guessing. I guess one thing that I should have got into is when they enter this ship, they find this giant golden sphere, which of course is what got the movie its name. And it seems to have almost magical-like qualities, or at the very least supernatural. For one thing, you think, well, it just looks alien, but it has like certain qualities to it for like, it doesn't show the reflections of the humans that are right beside it, even though it reflects everything else. Stuff like that just makes it seem creepy, and really you don't know where it's gonna go, the story, at least.
I just wanted to mention one or two things. When people compare this to The Abyss, there's 3 things that more or less stand out. And the underwater habitat, of course, has some similarities. The alien life, of course, that they encounter. And what was the third one? Shoot! Oh, I got lots of time. I wrote it down and I completely forgot. Oh, that's right. And, of course, the conversations that they have with Jerry are similar to Ed Harris taking away. But anyways, I think that there is such a great quality that we don't see. Barry Levinson is a very talented director, and he makes some pretty odd films. I really appreciate Barry as a director, and he really knows how to really get the best out of actors, and most directors can do that, and I think every director should try and do that for when they do direct films. I want to say that experience for Sphere. When I first saw Sphere, it was on TV, and it was in the middle of the summertime. Actually, it was probably the best time to see this because I felt like when I saw this that it was such an amazing experience of an underwater, thriller that I'd never seen before, and just left me feeling like cool. Like I was just like, wow, that was so freaking cool. It made me want more of it, and I wish that there was 3 movies made exactly like this, but with a completely different storyline, but the same quality, and it got me excited. Definitely excited to do filmmaking, and yeah, that's pretty much what I can say about it. It's been my number 1 for a long time now, and
I think it's important to go. A lot of things with this movie are really good because of the way it just sets things up.
Yeah.
And the way the music is integrated into the thing. Like there's a scene, a pretty graphic scene, with Queen Latifah out in the water and she's getting pummeled by jellyfish. Now it may sound silly, okay? It may sound silly.
Yeah.
But thankfully, her screams and cries for help were very They fit well with the music and the whole tense intensity of the scene. The only thing that I may have to there are a few things that I may have to criticize about this film. One thing is the way the other people handle deaths is a little strange. Like it doesn't seem like they're them to be. It doesn't make them ultra afraid of the situation they're in, or that they're extremely sad for the person who died. Sometimes it feels like you're just like, oh, I guess it's a way of life. And
well, I don't think you can just really like, if you wanted to like spend time with the characters actually grieving over this fact, they'd be there a long freaking time.
well, I know. I don't think it's not a huge problem. It's like I don't want them going, no, not Queen Latifah. She was going to star in the movie Last Resort. I don't think I wouldn't care, but I don't want. I think the crew would be more affected by it. Just a small complaint.
Now, when this was released in '98, I mean, the box office wasn't that great. Like really, the money that they put into it wasn't all gained back. But I mean, that's all right. I mean, it was a real risk on Barry's part and the producers, and I think that maybe some people feel that okay, well it was just too broad and it wasn't published. The PR wasn't good, you know, the advertising for it. But it really doesn't matter. A good film is going to stand on its own. So
Underrated movies will find an audience with someone if they're good.
okay, now I don't know about Dustin Hoffman and how he feels about the film. I watched the commentary and it kind of got mixed feelings on his end. I think he felt that it was at some time it was good working with Barry again, but I don't know if he felt this is my this is my cup of tea kind of film, because Samuel L. Jackson did most of the commentary. I mean, it's him and Dustin Hoffman, but really he did most of the commentary. And maybe he just doesn't have stuff to say for commentaries, but I just felt that,
Definitely the last.
you know, it wasn't his cup of tea. Also, you may notice if you watch the film, Norman hits his head on one of the tables, I think, or something. So maybe it was, you know, a ledge to go down to the to where he is, but he's swimming in this room. Of course, it's full of water, and he goes down, and he actually does bump his head, and that probably he was probably thinking after that, okay, maybe I should have got a stunt guy. Maybe maybe I'm not as active as I think I am.
Definitely encouraged.
Because really, like Dustin Hoffman, he's a drama actor. He's an amazing actor when it comes to.
We're never gonna see Dustin Hoffman be like, "Die, you sons of!"
Oh, I know he's held a gun before and shot people in movies and stuff.
Oh, in movies. Okay.
Yeah,
but he's.
But I know that a science fiction movie and a science fiction thriller nonetheless, it isn't going to be on the top of his list. So I think he enjoyed working with Barry again. I know he worked with them after on Wag the Dog, after this movie came out. I know that some people can have a different opinion on movies. Yeah, and I just wanted to say, like, this movie has so much involved in the actual, like, what actual happens. You don't just have people going underwater exploring for this alien or alien life. You have so much put into it, like 30,000 Leagues Under the Sea is put into 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea is put into this. A giant squid actually, comes, tries to kill them all. Just great fun. Like,
I think that one of the things that this movie really handles well is the suspense and the dialogue. That would be my top perks, or the top things that this film does, is the way the characters speak and the lines that they say all actually make you think, and then they also make you just really get invested into the story. And then the suspense is handled in a way where it can go from the smallest things, from something's around that corner to the way this character will say this line that will put you off for a bit. You don't know, whoa, what's going on? It'll put you off, and it makes you really on edge.
The only thing left to say is go out and rate this movie.
You might not be able to find Sphere that easily, but hey, that's what the internet is for.
Yeah.
So, Sphere is definitely a really good, definitely an underrated movie. Definitely underrated. And it's an all-around great, suspenseful science fiction underwater adventure.
Mm-hmm. And on the whole, I want to say that Michael Crichton, I know he's not with us right now, but I do want to just say, I'll tip my hat. And since I have one, I just want to tip my hat to him and say, good on you, you know. In conclusion, I'll say that this is probably my top 10.
You mean you're giving it a 10 out of 10?
I'm giving it a 10 out of 10.
Well, even though I think it's a great movie. I don't think it's a fully perfect movie. That's just my personal opinion. I think that some of the characters' logic isn't fully thought through, and I think the end is a little bit of a cop-out how it wraps up. A little. I don't want to spoil it. I don't want to spoil it. It's not a bad ending by any means.
Cool.
I don't think it's bad at all. I just personally think it may be a little bit of a cop-out, but it's not. As I say, it's not a bad ending. It's just. So for me, though, I think I'm gonna have to give it a 8 out of 10.
You know I don't have that blast in my sound effects library.
Well, I can put it on the computer. I mean, fine. Just
okay, so
whatever. Fine. I give it an 8 out of 10.
I'm Chris Filmbaker,
And I'm LazyD99. I don't like it if it's not worth it. But
and movie talks are coming back.
really, yeah. Movie talks.
Yeah.
Rock on. Be sure to check out some of my other videos on my channel. And if you want to see more of me and Chris Filmbaker, you can click right here on his side to see some of his videos. Thanks for watching.
Famous for, but most of his films are really the style is really weird. Like, does anyone remember? Really,
You're looking over, Chris. You're just like, and I mean, you really gotta do that thing. You're reading it.
I just gotta read it before, okay?
Yeah, just read it. What you're gonna like. You don't actually have notes. You just have the movies here.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll stop the camera. Should do a blooper reel.
Toys, Envy, Jimmy Hollywood, Young Sherlock Holmes.
Okay, turn.